So outside is fucking expensive. It's been expensive and it seems to have gotten even more expensive. And I live in Washington, DC, and I feel like every time I leave my house, I spend $150. But I'm very social and I want to see my people. So my solution is to host in my studio apartment. That's pretty simple. That's essentially one big room and a teeny tiny kitchen. And I have successfully hosted in spaces this small or even smaller, 12, 15, 20 people. I'm not doing that today, but I am gonna host some friends for dinner. So let me take you through how I host in a small space and just make it work, make it do what it do. Just so y'all can see, this is my apartment. It isn't the smallest studio I've lived in. It's actually, I think, 400-ish square feet, but it's literally bed, my desk is behind that divider, little lounger, TV, table. That's what we got. But tonight I'm cooking and hosting a dinner party for 4, and it's gonna work. And if it doesn't work, because I'm trying a new recipe, we can just get fucking pizza, but it's gonna work. So as I get ready to host tonight, let me take you through my 5 tips for hosting in a small apartment or a small space, or just 5 tips for hosting in general, so you can have a successful gathering with your people without spending, you know, $1 bajillion. So my first tip is clear as much clutter, trash, shit as you can. Open up the space, even if it's a small space, and also it makes people feel more comfortable, right? Nobody's gonna wanna come in and sit down and eat and hang out when there's like boxes everywhere and you got shit on the floor and you got trash. So let's clean up a little bit. I currently have some packages to sort through, and then I'll take the boxes out to recycling so they're not in the way. Ooh, my new book came, The Message by Ta-Nehisi Coates. I'm really excited for this one. And I saw on social media somewhere, I don't know who to credit because I've seen it in many places, that we're not having house parties anymore because ain't nobody got houses. And I think that's true. Most of my friends don't own houses. We can't afford a house. I can't afford a house. But that doesn't mean that we can't gather and have parties. I just think that we have to be unashamed about where we live and unashamed about like our lives. I live in a studio. This is what works for me. It's what I can afford. There's nothing wrong with that. My place doesn't have to be fancy to be a place where we can have fun or where we can hang out and talk shit or any of that. And I feel like especially if you're inviting people over who you know well and who truly value your friendship, it's not gonna matter. A few weeks ago for Friendsgiving, I hosted 6 people here. And literally people were sitting on my bed, somebody sat on the floor, we were all very comfortable. Granted, my floor is clean, that's step 1, clean and declutter. But you know, people who value you in their lives are not gonna care that you don't have a house. We ain't got houses, but we can still have apartment parties. That's what I think. And yes, I did order more wine glasses because I only had a set of 4. And I have been having more and more people over, and so I figured we needed a full set of 8. These wine glasses were pretty affordable. I did get them on Amazon. I don't wanna hear it. I don't have a car, and for me, breaking up with Amazon has been very, very hard, even though I'm trying. But I love these glasses, and I will link to them in the caption. When I said I have a small kitchen, this is what I mean. But I make it work in here. I cook for my dinner parties in here. But before I start cooking, I need to clear these dishes and make sure the kitchen is clean and that like all of the available prep space is actually available because I don't have a lot of it. And then later I will get to cooking. And if you have a water pitcher, fill it, make sure it is full and water is chilled before people come over. I also don't have a dishwasher, as you can see. So as somebody who likes to cook and who cooks for herself every day when I'm home, I have way too many fucking dishes to do. I love my apartment. It's small, but it works for me. And as someone who travels a lot for work and travels a lot for pleasure, I'm not here enough to really justify getting a bigger, fancier place. At least that's what I tell myself in my mind. But if I had a dishwasher, my life would change. The day after I hosted Friendsgiving, I literally did dishes 6 times, 6 loads of dishes before I was done clearing up all of the plates and cups and pots I had used or we had used the day before. Okay, my bed's pretty made, but you know, we can floof it a little bit. Just a little. Thankfully my apartment's pretty clean, but still. My bathroom's small and it doesn't have a fan. So I actually use this area as like a get ready station after I get out of the shower, so I don't have to be in there like steaming and sweating, trying to put lotion on and stuff. And I have like lotion and a little bit of makeup and such on this table, and then I can look at my outfit in the mirror. Tonight, I only have a few people coming over, but if I had more people, if I had 6 or 7 people, what I would do would be to clear this little side table and just shove all this stuff in my closet and then put this out maybe next to the lounger or next to the bed, so people can use it to put drinks on top of, to put their plates on, to sit around just as an additional surface, but thankfully I don't need that tonight. All right, my place is cleaned and decluttered. Now let's get to tip number 2 for hosting in a small space, figuring out a plan for seating. I think seating does not need to be complicated or cost you any money if you don't want it to. Like I said, when I hosted Friendsgiving, people sat on the bed, they sat on the floor, no problem at all. But I do think when you're hosting in a small space, part of making people feel comfortable is letting them know where they are welcome to sit. So if a bunch of people are coming into my apartment, I will say, oh, by the way, make yourself at home. It's small in here, but you can sit on the bed, it's clean. You can sit at my desk, you can sit on my lounger, and I will put out more chairs because I do have folding chairs as someone who likes to host. Tonight, since there's, I think, just 4 of us, and I am cooking dinner, I want folks to sit around one table together. So what I'm gonna do is pull out this square table and then put folding chairs on either side so 4 of us can sit around it. I think this is perfect because people can still walk through even when folks are sitting around the table. So we did it. So 2 of the friends coming over tonight are really close friends that I actually met on a trip to Antarctica this year. If you haven't seen my Antarctica YouTube video, watch it. I'm very proud of it. It was my first long form YouTube video, and honestly, I made a fucking movie, okay? That is a good video. And it takes you through everything from how to get to Antarctica to what's it like on the boat, what's a day like in Antarctica, like what do you see, what do you do? But most importantly, that trip is really special to me because it was like my first big project that I took on after I got divorced and went back to work and was feeling more like myself, not 100%, but more like myself and not as depressed. And when I was on that trip, I met these 2 people who are coming over tonight who are now really good friends and who I really value. And it just was like the start of this new phase of my life. So that's who I'm hosting. Okay, the wine glasses are drying, but the kitchen is clean and ready to cook later. And then my third tip for hosting in a small space is music and a vibe is key. I love a good playlist. I have a dinner party playlist on Apple Music that I will link in the caption. But also when I say vibe, think about, do the people that are coming know each other? How comfortable are they with me? How comfortable are they with each other? So to ease the path and build connections, I like to put out conversation cards. Sometimes people use them, sometimes they don't, but they are a good icebreaker for folks. So let me show you what I mean by conversation cards. This is one of Liz Moody's Healthier Together decks, which I love. And then also I have the We're Not Really Strangers deck. And what I would typically do is just pick 5 or 10 that I like and put them out on a table or somewhere where people are gonna be congregating. I love this one. Do you think plants thrive or die in my care? Explain. Ooh, what reality show do you think I'm most likely to binge watch? Explain. So I would put some of these out. I'd have a playlist going. I definitely will light a candle as well, light some candles, and just try to make it a space where it feels easy for people to kind of flow through, talk, also easy for them to get a drink, which I'll show you in a second, and to build connection. And especially if I have friends coming over where we know each other and we're really close, I will put out this Instax mini camera that's basically like a Polaroid. You can take a photo and it prints out. It's just fun to make memories together with this thing. I would say figuring out how you want people to eat is also part of setting the vibe. I don't think you need fancy place settings. I don't think you need most of this. I have hosted successful parties with parchment paper on a windowsill with pots on it so people could serve themselves. I think it's more just having a plan for how people are gonna eat. Tonight's small, so I feel like we can actually utilize these nice place settings I have and it won't get too crowded at the table. Otherwise, for Friendsgiving, it was serving up plates from the stove in the kitchen. Whatever works. You don't need to go buy a bunch of stuff. I only have all this hosting stuff because I love to host and I've hosted for a long time, so I've accumulated it over the years, but it doesn't have to be that serious. And as you can see, my table is small, so it's still kind of a stretch to figure out where everything can fit. I think this way. And then I will serve from the kitchen as well because we don't have enough space to put the dishes on the table. And yes, if you're paying attention, I changed because I'm quickly going to a yoga class before I come back to cook and host. I just got back from yoga. I'm a little sweaty, but we're gonna finish up before my friends get here. So my next 2 tips for hosting in a small space are based on the assumption that if your space is small, your kitchen is small. So how do you make it work given the fact that everybody can't hang out in your kitchen together? Tip 4, set up a drink station outside of your kitchen so folks can serve themselves while you're plating or finishing the meal, etc. I literally usually do this on my windowsill, so then I don't have to take up space on the table for it. Gonna put some glasses here. Whiskey, in case somebody wants whiskey. Wine glasses, I will put out. Actually, I'm gonna put out this little napkin so that we don't get condensation all over the windowsill. And I have a bottle of white. I also always think you should have a non-alcoholic option. I really like these non-alcoholic aperitifs from Ghia. This is the berry, which I think is perfect, mixed with a little sparkling water. So I'll put out cans of sparkling water and this. So this is how it looks all set up on the windowsill. We have glasses, whiskey, wine glasses, sparkling water, white wine, Ghia, and I also have a bottle of champagne that I'll put out here as well. This is just, I keep snacks here sometimes, but why not? Having a drink station set up outside of the kitchen means that you can free up the space in your tiny kitchen to prep and serve. So that is my fifth and final tip for hosting in a small space. Pick items to cook or prepare that don't take multiple pots. One pot dishes, stews, curries, things like that. Things you can serve in one big bowl. Like really minimize how many prep and serving dishes you're going to need. Tonight I'm making 2 dishes from this cookbook, Souk to Table, which was gifted to me. I'll link it below. So far I really like it, but it's vibrant Middle Eastern dishes for everyday meals. And I love Middle Eastern food. I also lived and worked in the Middle East for a long time, and I do speak Arabic, and it's a cuisine that I think I could eat every day. So of course, when I was like, I'm gonna have people over, I decided to cook from this cookbook. I'm making a chopped salad, kind of an everyday salad that you'll find throughout the region. And I'm also making kufta tahiniya. So it's kufta, which is like a beef spiced ground kebab cooked in tahini with potatoes and other things. And this kufta is something I used to eat all the time when I lived in Jordan. It was one of my favorite things to order at a restaurant. I've only made it once or twice before, and not from this cookbook, so it is a little bit of a gamble, but we doing it. I'm gonna start with the salad, take a shower and change really quickly, and then start with the kufta and finish that probably as my friends are arriving. So let's get to it. This is my cookbook stand while I will be using this tiny space here to prep the salad. Let me pull everything out. I do think getting all my ingredients out before I start helps me not forget things. Cucumber, bell pepper, tomato, where's the parsley? Here we go. I think I want to use red onion for this. We'll do lemon juice, olive oil, pomegranate molasses. So good. I get this at Whole Foods, and I get their date molasses too from Just Date. I'm obsessed. Sumac. I get most of my spices from Burlap and Barrel. I'm a huge fan. They work directly with partner farmers to pay better wages and get you faster, fresher spices. I get a lot of my spices from them, which I'll link to them. Also from Diaspora Co. And then for some ingredients that are common to the Middle East, like when I need to get more sumac or za'atar, I'll order from Z&Z, which is based in the DMV, and that family is amazing. Their flatbreads are so good at their storefront. Like, go there, have a meal, and then buy some goodies to take home. And I will link to them as well. Some salt and a big bowl. Let me wash everything. And also, before I get to chopping, I just got this knife from Middleton Made Knives. It is beautiful, and I've seen Middleton Made Knives at some festivals and events. He is the owner, the founder, and knife maker is a Black knife maker. He makes all of these by hand. He has a storefront in Charleston, I believe, that just opened. He sent me this. I have used it a few times and it's beautiful, and I want to buy more knives from them. I will also link to his work as well. If you're looking for a little Black-owned Christmas gift, highly recommend. I'm gonna get to chopping and then I'll be right back. I will say a salad like this is a lot of chopping if you don't have one of those veggie chopper things, but oh well. I thought the flavors of the pomegranate and the tomato and the freshness of the salad would help kind of cut through the heaviness of the beef and tahini dish I'm making. So I am about to be chopping for a while, unfortunately. I'm mixing and taste testing the salad now, but it already looks so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Okay, I think I have the salad adjusted how I want it. And also the flavors are gonna meld a little bit more in the fridge as it sits, but let's see. That's beautiful. Into the fridge we go. Time to prep myself. Okay, time to mise en place again and cook. This time, more parsley, garlic, beef. Gonna need salt for sure. More pomegranate molasses, paprika, almonds. Well, I don't know where the breadcrumbs are, but we're gonna figure it out. I definitely forgot breadcrumbs, so I'm just gonna make some while the oven's preheating and I'm chopping everything. I'm just gonna toast some old bread and then crush it up. We gotta do what we gotta do. It says a 1/4 cup. It's probably probably this much is fine, I feel like. I really need to get a food processor. I don't have one. I gotta get a little one that I can figure out where to put in my kitchen. That's the hard part about getting stuff, is I never know where it goes. But I need to get a food processor or stop picking recipes that call for super finely chopped onions. Whew! So for the breadcrumbs, I toasted that bread. I put it in this silicone bag and now I'm just smashing it.
How y'all doing? I'm welcoming me to the vlog. I was gonna starve tonight, but Anella texted me. She was like, hey, do you want something to eat? And I was like, word. So now I'm here. Ooh. So what is this called again?
Kofta tahini. It's a beef sausage. Hold on. Why is it sticking? It shouldn't be sticking.
She fucking out, y'all. She fucking out. I don't know what's going on.
Whatever. We don't sear it a little bit, but it's a beef sausage that's going to be cooked in tahini. She said I didn't need oil for this part, but I feel like I needed a little bit of oil. But it's too late now. Yeah, this is a pro tip if you have to make a sauce. I always make a sauce in a big measuring cup, so then I only have to use one thing, and then everything gets measured as I add it in. And then whatever potatoes I have left over, I'm just gonna fry for breakfast tomorrow. Perfect. Oh, one piece is missing. I'm dripping everywhere, but oh well. And then this is the tahini sauce. It's basically tahini, lemon juice, water, yogurt, mix it until it's like thoroughly combined and creamy. Let's taste the sauce, because if the sauce is bland, that sauce is good. Perfect. My other friends are parking, so while we wait for them, I will clean up a little bit in here. Oh my gosh. Yay.
It smells so good in here.
But the winter is not for me.
It's really good. Hey, Bonnie. She's standing here using my lotion.
Because people talk about it on TikTok.
I love the Naturium lotion and the body wash.
See, now I'm talking about
But girl, stop stealing my expensive lotion.
You really made several things, ma'am.
I hosted a dinner party the other day, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll make." I ordered wings.
This is living.
We did good. We did good. She did amazing. Mission accomplished.